Hello, my name is Zoe, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you a folkloric sort of belly dance movement called the Ghawazee shimmy. The Ghawazee are a group, or many groups, of professional dancers in Egypt dating back centuries, at least to the 19th century, but maybe even before. And while I'm not an expert on the Ghawazee, a little bit about them. So these were mostly women who were dancing, again, for like festivals in villages, things like this. Also, if you read the Orientalist accounts of travelers coming to Egypt, and there were dancers who would perform for the travelers, they were usually Ghawazee dancers. They were, I believe, originally in Cairo, but were then expelled in around 1834 and went to Upper Egypt, to the Said region. And so then there's kind of an influence from there in some Ghawazee styles. And then I believe later spread out to other parts of Egypt. So there's kind of different types of Ghawazee dance, but overall, the important thing to know is that these were, professional dancers, but in a sort of a folkloric sense, because they weren't what we would think of when we think of trained dancers. They weren't going to ballet school or anything like this. So there are still a lot of the folkloric elements in their dance, especially the earthiness, as you will see with the shimmy, which is a lot of fun. So let's get started. So this shimmy is a three-quarter shimmy, which means that we do 3 movements, which are going to be hip movements, in the space of 4 counts. Could be 4 beats, but that's a bit complicated. It's not always. But the point is that you would do 1, 2, 3, and. So there's a space. You're going to do 1, 2, 3, for example, and 1, 2, 3. So that's why it's called a three-quarter shimmy. There are many other types of three-quarter shimmies. In this one in particular, we're going to start with an out hip movement. So we're going to step and push the hip out with the step. So really, you can just practice that to each side. And this is a bit similar to the hip bumps, but I'm not going to be squeezing my glute for this because the shimmy is going to be a bit faster and there isn't going to be time. So as I step, I'm straightening my knee here and really pushing the hip out. So we can just practice this, pushing the hip out. You're going to have your legs not close together the way I would for more kind of modern Oriental, but again, because this is more folkloric, we're going to have the legs a bit more parallel here. So just stepping and pushing the hip out. So once you've got that, now what we're going to do is add the three-quarter-ness to the movement. So we are going to step out, weight on one leg, and then we are going to straighten and bend this knee, the unweighted knee. So that can be a bit tricky, and it's going to bring the hip up. So I'm using my knee and my oblique contracting, as often with our hip ups. There's a video on hip ups and downs as well, to bring my hip up, and then releasing back down, up, down, up, down. You can also just practice this on one leg. So standing, weight is on one leg, and with the other leg going hip ups and down, using the knee and the obliques. not the glutes for this one. On the other side, so weight is on one leg, and then with the unweighted leg, we do that leg straightens and bends. This is also good for your balance. Good to practice balance. Of course, when you do the shimmy, you're not going to be spending so long on one leg, so it's a bit easier, but this is good to practice. So the full movement is then going to be out, up, down. Out on one side, then with the opposite hip, up, and then that hip comes back down. Out, up, down, 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 out, up, down. And really try to use those knees and obliques. Also, try to make sure that your pelvis is completely straight. That's also really going to help with the alignment for this shimmy. So contract your lower abdominal muscles. You want to have that contraction there. That's going to allow you a little more looseness, which, as you'll see, is very important for this movement. So again, out, up, down, out, up, down, out, up, down, out, up, down. Great, let's drill that with a rhythm. I recommend drilling at a nice slow speed like that, just the basics, and then slowly work on speeding it up. So you can have fun with it and really try to make that out a bit bigger, because one of the reasons, if you look at old pictures of Ghawazee dancers and look at the costumes that they had, they would have like these little kind of vest things over a blouse and big balloony pants maybe, or a skirt, and often a lot of like shawls or something tied around their hips. So you have a lot of stuff around your hips, so a lot of the dance is making all of that stuff sway, so that's why you get this really big side to side motion here. And again, you're keeping your legs kind of bent as you do this, because you're down on the earth, a bit more folklore. And again, work on speeding that up. It can get quite fast. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put this over a foot pattern. So of course you can do this with a lot of different foot patterns. You can do it coming forwards. You can do it coming back. And in this one, we're going to combine them. We're going to do a basic, what I call box step, which is just forwards and then back again and forwards. So you actually don't move anywhere. You stay in place, but you continue doing this step. Forwards and then back and forwards, forwards, back, forwards, and then on the other side, forwards, back, forwards, forwards, back, forwards. So putting that with the shimmy, it would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you don't have to worry too much about the upper body, because again, this dance, it's a little more of that folkloric feel and not that super trained dancer. Everything has to be isolated. They're not really isolating so much. So you can just kind of let your upper body do what it would naturally do. So it should be a natural feeling sort of movement. So let's try the other side, going forwards, back 2, 3, back 2, 3, forwards. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, forwards. Back, back, forwards. Forwards, back, back, forwards. And you can also do this to different diagonals. That can be fun to change your direction. And to transition, you can just change the last step into a touch. So let's say I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to do touch. So then I can go into the other side. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, touch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, touch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, touch. So let's drill that pattern with some music. It's going to be a bit faster than what we did before. So again, doing 7 steps and a touch. So a box to one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, touch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, touch. So let's put on some fun Ghawazee-esque music and dance. So that was the 3/4 shimmy known as a Ghawazee shimmy. I hope you had a lot of fun with it. If you did, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with other people who you think would benefit from these belly dance breakdowns. Thank you so much for watching, and happy practicing.